Jew were not pals. They didn't like each other. But the Good Samaritan sees the injured Jew on the side of the road, takes him to the inn, pays the innkeeper some money, says, when I get back, if it's not enough, I'll give you some more money. Now today, we're transitioning to a different culture and a different society, where the Good Samaritan sees the Jew. He says, oh, it's terrible that you're injured, my friend. I'll meet you at the inn. 2 hours behind me is a government worker, and he'll take you there. We do not want that. We want to maintain that culture where we are our brother's keeper. The whole idea is healthcare right. We don't have to even go there because healthcare is responsibility. In the United States of America, if an illegal alien gets hit by a bus out there, he gets to the hospital and gets care. When I went to Haiti after the earthquake, there were doctors from all over America on their own nickel came to help people. America is great because it's good, said de Tocqueville. And de Tocqueville said, when we stop being good, we'll stop being great. We have an unbelievable opportunity unfolding before us as we look at some of the people that have been elected to office. And the people are now taking leadership. Bob McDonald, Christie, just you can name them all, Susanna Martinez, Nikki Haley, and the emergence of new conservative leaders just from out of nowhere almost. Rick Santorum is going to be speaking for a minute. And all the other leaders who have come to the fore that are going to lead us to a new prosperity where we can reverse the attack on the coal industry, we can unleash our energy, we can get rid of a lot of the dumb bureaucratic regulations we have in place. And America's future is so bright and it's so exciting to be involved in the battle right now. And when you talk about the battle, listen carefully to what Arthur Brooks has to say, because he's captured the essence of, he'll talk about earned success and talk about there's more than just money involved when you feed your family. There's the joy of having said, yeah, I contributed to my family, I contributed to our country. I look on this crowd, 2,000 of you, it's pretty impressive. There's no way we're not going to have a brighter America because of what each of you can do in the leadership that you have and the influence you have with others in your life. So God bless Chicago CPAC, God bless the United States Fair, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Rick Santorum.
Back in Illinois, thank you so much. First and foremost, thank all of you for being here today, and certainly thank all of you who pitched in and helped and made our time here in Illinois a wonderful experience. I think one of my most favorite events in the campaign was right in the downtown area, down square in Dixon, Illinois, in front of the Reagan statue. We had a couple thousand people there, and it was one of those moments that I just remembered, what this is. That we're part of history. This is an important time in our country's history. We looked at the statue of Dutch Reagan and what he was able to accomplish, and we look back and say, wow, he did great things and what a wonderful thing he did, but it is now our watch. It is now our time. And I think we all understand that while Ronald Reagan went through a difficult time and we had certainly big challenges then, we have even bigger challenges today. This is the most important election in our lifetime. Remember, when I was campaigning all across the country, that's how I would start every speech. This is the most important election, maybe in the history of the country. The fact that I'm no longer in the presidential race doesn't change that. This is still the most important election in the history of our country. And I can tell you, I feel a little bit better about that election since what happened on Tuesday up in Wisconsin. God bless you. But this is a tipping point. One of the things I found, and Karen and I and the family, as we traveled around the country, and we heard from you. We heard about the anxiety that people had, the concern that they had about not just the economy and the unemployment rate and radical Islam and our national security or the horrible deficit situation we're in, or the size of and scale of the change. People are concerned about fundamentally what is going on in America. Whether there's a realignment as a result of the policies of this administration. We know we've been sort of inexorably going more and more toward bigger government and more government control of our lives, but we've seen over the past several years the accelerator being pressed down, and all of a sudden, whether it's our culture, as we've seen from some of the changes in policies of President Obama, whether it's our culture, dealing with the institutions of marriage, life, the institutions that are the bedrock of our society, whether it's that or whether it's the role of government in our lives, the role of the federal government, the role of the interaction between who is the master and who is the servant. And Ronald Reagan said, freedom is always one generation away from extinction. And of course, I believe that the potential place where that extinction could occur is in ever-increasing and powerful government. I share that with George Washington. George Washington said, government is not reason. It is not eloquence. He said, it is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a master to be feared. That's where we are in America today, where I believe we are at that tipping point, where we have forgotten who we are and we are becoming, as Foster talked about earlier, more and more dependent upon government to do almost everything for us. And we, by the way, as conservatives, are as guilty as any. Maybe not as guilty, but certainly guilty on some levels. Because we, too, expect government to come in and do things. I don't know how many businesses I talk about who talk about the role of the Small Business Administration, the government that need help. We've been lured by that siren song to expect and anticipate government to be somehow part of everything that we do. And that is the fundamental nature that has changed in our country, and it is going to get worse unless we say no. I traveled around this country and realized that the only way we were going to unite America and start anew is to remember who we are. Ronald Reagan, in his farewell address to the American people, said the greatest concern he had as he left office in 1989 was that Americans had forgotten who we are and what we were all about. So I spent a lot of the time traveling the country, yes, talking about all the substantive issues, but the core issue was who we are as Americans. And of course, to know who we are, we have to find out, well, where do we come from? A lot of folks, many in this room, have done a wonderful job, members of Tea Parties and other conservative organizations, reviving the United States Constitution, which needs to be done, reminding us